3 seconds. That's the entire difference between a question someone answers with 4 words and the same question they answer with 40. In the 1970s, an education researcher named Mary Budd Rowe recorded thousands of classroom exchanges. Most teachers waited about 1 second after asking a question before jumping back in. When she trained them to wait 3, the answers got longer, more thoughtful, and more students spoke at all. Same teacher, same question, only the silence changed. We assume human behavior is basically random. People either like us or they don't. But a lot of it runs on patterns. Today, 7 of them. And a promise up front. None of these are tricks for controlling anyone. Everyone still works if the other person knows exactly what you're doing. That's the filter I used. Here's why it works. Most people are deeply uncomfortable with silence. When you don't fill it, the other person does, and what fills it is almost always the more honest version. The rehearsed answer comes out in the first second. The real one comes out in the third. You know this from the other side. Someone asks how you've been. You say, yeah, good, busy, and then they don't move on. They just wait. And somewhere in that gap, you hear yourself say the actual thing. Nobody pulled that out of you. There was just finally room for it. Try this. Ask your question, then count to 3. 3 seconds feels like an eternity from the inside. From the outside, it just looks like patience. When you're anxious, the instinct is to push the feeling away. Research on affect labeling suggests the opposite. Putting the feeling into words lowers its intensity. I'm noticing I feel anxious right now. Outperforms stop being anxious. Think of 2 a.m. when you can't sleep, and there's a heavy, formless dread sitting on your chest. You try to argue with it, and it doesn't move, because there's nothing there to argue with. Then you actually finish the sentence. I'm anxious about the conversation I have tomorrow, and it doesn't disappear, but it stops being everything. It's one thing now, with edges. That's the whole mechanism. Not making the feeling go away, making it a size you can see. 1 flag. This is describing, not judging. I'm noticing I feel anxious is labeling. I'm anxious again, what is wrong with me is a second problem stacked on the first. Try this. Use the full sentence. I'm noticing I feel blank right now. Number 1 was about a moment inside a conversation. This one is about which moments survive it. Looking back on an experience, we don't average it out fairly. We overweight 2 moments, the emotional peak and the ending. That's the peak-end rule, one of the most reliably replicated findings on this list. It's like a series with a weak middle season and an incredible finale. People remember it as great. A strong series with a disappointing ending gets remembered as a disappointment. So if a conversation went awkwardly, the ending still matters. A warm goodbye changes how the whole interaction gets stored in their memory and in yours. Try this. End conversations on purpose instead of letting them dissolve. This was good. I'm glad we talked. 30 seconds rewrites the whole file. We tend to like things simply because we've seen them before. No special quality required, just exposure. That's the mere exposure effect. Here's the part that gets left out. It doesn't work in reverse. If someone's first impression of you was actively negative, repeated exposure tends to make it worse. The effect needs a neutral or mildly positive starting point. So just keep showing up is real advice, but only if you haven't already given someone a reason to avoid you. If you have, the repair comes first. Consistent, small interactions build connection better than one dramatic gesture. Showing up regularly beats showing up impressively. Try this. Pick one person and send them one small, low-pressure message a week. Many people assume appearing flawless earns respect. Research on the pratfall effect suggests something gentler. Competent people who show a small human flaw are often seen as more likable than those who seem perfect. The condition matters, and it's why this backfires. In the original study, the flaw only helped those who'd already demonstrated competence. For someone who hadn't, the same flaw made them less likable. It's like the anime character who's unbeatable in every fight but useless at cooking. That flaw is why people love them, but only because you already watched them win. Competence first, then the crack in the armor. Try this. Stop editing out the ordinary stuff. Admit you got lost. Say you didn't understand the question. You probably remember the show you abandoned halfway more clearly than the one you finished. That's the Zeigarnik effect. Being honest, the original 1920s findings have a mixed replication record, and the effect size is debated. But the practical version holds up on its own terms because it doesn't depend on the memory claim. Starting is the expensive part. Continuing is cheap. Once a task is open, the cost of returning to it drops enormously. Try this when you can't start. Commit to 2 minutes with genuine permission to stop after. Procrastination usually isn't a motivation problem. It's a starting problem. Number 6 lowers the cost of starting. This one removes the decision entirely. I'll exercise more fails. After I brush my teeth on Monday, I'll do 10 push-ups in my bedroom works far more often. These are implementation intentions, and across hundreds of studies, they consistently outperform goals that only name the outcome. The reason is unglamorous. A vague goal makes you decide in the moment whether now is the right time, and in the moment you are tired, distracted, and bad at that decision. A specific plan hands it to a version of you who was calm and had time to think. You're not adding willpower, you're removing a decision. Try this. Rewrite one thing in this shape. When specific moment, I will specific action in specific place. I said all 7 survive transparency? Here's why that test matters. None of these work as tools for controlling people. They remove friction rather than create pressure. The pause doesn't extract information. It makes room for it. The warm ending doesn't fake a good conversation. It closes a real one properly. So the honest test, would I be comfortable if they knew exactly what I was doing? If a technique only works when the other person doesn't know about it, it isn't psychology. It's manipulation. Real influence survives being explained. If some of these surprised you, that's normal. We assume human behavior is far more mysterious than it is. A lot of it runs on patterns. Patterns you can learn, notice, and work with instead of against. And usually, it's the smallest adjustment that moves the most. So pick one, just one. Drop the number in the comments, literally just 3 or 5, and come back next week and tell us what happened. Thanks for being here. Until next time, take care.